I don't want anyone to think that I've completely ignored any of the suggestions people were nice enough to give us in the last update video when I really asked for help, because I read through all of them. I sat down and I thought, what can I implement right away and what can I implement over a period of time? And we're finally ready to start making some of the bigger changes that people suggested. The first will probably be a different template for our thumbnails, different sort of titles, figure out what's going on with that. I'm hoping to rework all of our schedule. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but I'm planning on actually cutting out the multi-playthrough schedule right now. I really do think that we would be better off, and I think people will have a better time following along if we stick to a single playthrough. So if I'm playing Undertale, I'm playing all of Undertale until it's all done. If I'm playing Limbus, it's going to be all Limbus until it's all done. Which my schedule will be changing a lot soon. Like a lot soon. So I'll have to... That will be a different update video. I don't have that nailed down yet. But expect possibly video uploads will change their time, which will probably really mess with the algorithm or anything else that's going to happen. But I don't know. There's a lot that's like changing in my own personal life, which means that unfortunately that's all going to be dumped onto you. But hopefully it's all for the better. All of it should be. No bad things are happening right now, and I'm sort of excited about the next few steps. But that means that I need to get the Discord channel back up and running, because this is my fault. I've neglected it. I really have. And I go in and check it every once in a while, but I've kind of got one of those situations where, and this is just an excuse. I mean, don't let me off the hook, but it's one of those where I'm looking at it and you know how you've let a conversation or a text go for so long that you're like, oh my God, the person who hates me, they don't want to talk to me anymore. That's how I feel about Discord. I look at it, I'm like, there's so much awesome stuff and people are still posting. And I should answer. I should be there, but paralysis kicks in or something. I don't know. But that's a me problem, and I will fix it. And I have decided I'm going to make a conscious effort to be there way more. So the Discord will be changing soon, probably over the span of a couple weeks, because I'm probably going to be gutting most of the channels that were there. I guess, to be completely transparent, I didn't know anything about Discord. I always used other forms of communication when I was talking to people, a lot of other social medias, and I didn't understand it enough, so I reached out to a friend and they set it up for me. And then they handed it to me and they didn't really explain anything, so I was like trying to juggle, trying to figure it all out and Googling everything I could. And it just got a little overwhelming, and now I feel like I've taken the time, because that was what I was doing. I didn't want people to think I was completely ignoring the suggestion. I took the time to research a little bit and figure out that for the size of our channel and the type of community that I want to build, because I want us to be a little bit more close-knit, I think it would be better to have a smaller Discord. I have so many, I'm staring at it right now, I have so many channels on there that it feels like everything is just so spread out. And I feel like it would be better if we just trim the fat a little bit, cut it down, and really focus on you and me, and we can have conversations there. And I think that would be a good spot for us to grow this channel together. Because I got to thinking, how can I involve everyone in this growth? How can we make this the best that we can make it? And I think a big part of that will be the Discord. I know Derp, huge shout out to Derp, and a few other people made that suggestion, and I think that's a huge one. I think that's going to be a big step. That way we can actually talk, and I can not feel so bashful about asking and pleading, please tell me how to fix my face. Is it my facial features? Is it my expressions? Am I too whatever? Like, that would be a good spot for that. Like, hey, what do you think of this last video? Give me your fair opinion, and maybe that is one of the... I think someone that suggested how I should change the Discord, a close friend of mine, and they said it really works for them. They said 4 channels. That's it. Anything more than that, it gets overwhelming. Anything less than that, and there's not enough space for people to stretch their legs, metaphorically. So that means I'm gonna try to pare that down, try to make it a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more mainstream, and then make sure that I really do have a tighter grip on it. I also think that instead of all the different social media channels that we have, which kind of go dead air most of the time because when we're rotating posts through them, I think we'll probably narrow that down too. Try to cut out most of that. Maybe focus on one or two places. I really also want to try to build up the community tab here on YouTube, because I really do think that would be a really neat place to build up our community too. Because I want to implement back in the one thing that I regret cutting out of our schedule, and that is the viewer suggestion videos. I loved those. I got to play so many cool games that people just suggested that I would have never seen. And that's because there's so many people out there who have so many different experiences, and their Steam library isn't suggesting the brand new thing to them because they've played other indie games. They've played more obscure stuff than me. Because right now, I just pulled up my Steam, and I'm staring at like pre-purchases for AAA titles. And that's not gonna, it's not gonna hit my wish list, let alone gonna hit my wallet. I have to dig deep to try to find some of these games. And if people just have stuff that they want to watch, we should be playing it. Especially if it matches our whole aesthetic and our whole vibe, which I got some feedback from people outside of our community. I reached out to a couple people, and it took months, but they finally got back to me. And these are a little bit bigger channels, not massive. I'm not even sure if people would even, and they didn't want me to do a shout out because I told them, hey, I'm gonna make this announcement. I'll totally give you a shout out. Thanks for everything. They're like, no, don't do it. Just don't, because I don't know why. I really don't. But yeah, probably because they're so humble. They're so amazing. But yeah, the people, 2 different channels, medium sized, about 50 to 60,000 subscribers. They took a look and they're like, hey, we really think that you would benefit from these few changes. So they gave me some feedback on some stuff, which is one of the big reasons why I'm cutting down on the playthroughs, the number of them that we have, because they said it's kind of confusing to know what's going on with my schedule, and I just need to be present more, or in the moment more, I think is what they suggested. But they also suggested that I need to narrow my focus. They notice I've been playing horror games. They notice I play story-rich games. And they said that's amazing and it's fun, and it looks like we're having a good time, they said. But without the algorithm knowing where to send a video, because people tend to watch specific games or specific genres of games, then we get lost in the mix, I guess. And that makes sense. It seems like people really enjoy the fact that I get into games and I get obsessed with them, and I really like to dive into the details, and I call games out on their BS. If suddenly there's plot holes that open up that are a mile wide and a big chasm, I see it and I just can't help it, and I have to call that out. And it seems like that's what people enjoy. And I might be way off the mark, because I also notice that there are some times when I get to just sit down with a random game that doesn't have a story at all, and I get to be silly about it and make crap up. That it seems like some people really enjoy that too. The problem is I do both when I should only be doing one. So I have to figure out what part of that I like the most. And for the longest time, I always thought that the part of that I like the most is the ability to do both, depending on how I feel that day. Maybe that's what's holding us back. Maybe I'm the reason why everything's being held back, and I apologize for slowing us down. But we're getting there. I mean, I'm not upset at this. I'm so happy. So I don't want it to come across as, oh, poor me, everything is too slow, and we've been stuck at 9,000 subscribers for too long. Why aren't we hitting the magical 10,000 or 50,000 or whatever? I'm enjoying the process. just as much as I will ever enjoy, and probably more so than I'll ever enjoy, the end goal. And that's because I don't think there'll ever be an end goal. I'll always want to grow. I'll always want to get better at the craft. This is fun. And all of you are so amazing. And I really do think that with all the suggestions that you've suggested, and some of the feedback that I've gotten from other places too, that some of these big changes that are going to be happening are probably going to be for the better. And there'll probably be some growing pains, and that'll be a little unfortunate, and I feel bad if it's an inconvenience for anyone else out there. But I think, in the grand scheme of things, I think things will be better for us. Because I also noticed something, and that's there are a lot of people that said when I upload videos, oh, I was just going to go to bed, but you uploaded the video. And I'm so appreciative for the people that are like staying up late and watching the videos. And that makes me, it gives me, I always talk about a heart hug. It gives me a nice warm heart hug. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much for sacrificing your sleep, because sleep is so important, to spend some time with us. It's amazing, and I appreciate them for that. But what that tells me is I'm probably posting too late or too early. If I caught them in the morning, maybe, a few hours later, they would have been asleep, and then they could have watched in the morning. So I'm thinking probably moving the time would be good, moving the days. And I'm also playing around with the idea of going back to a schedule where we upload videos every other day. Now, don't quote me on that one just yet. That I'm just toying with that. And there's a big reason for it. And the first is that I am, I have my sister to help me. But in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot that we have to do outside of this and in this, with this, around this. It's a lot. And that means that some days when we're really short on time, the video's quality goes down. And then I feel really bad for not delivering my 100%. And if we go back to an everyday upload, back when we were doing that, it felt like I could really put all of the edits I wanted to into the videos. Everything. And my sister, who is a digital artist, a graphic artist, she could draw things for the videos, and she could animate things for the videos. And so I think the video quality, we could step it up big time if we go back to the every other day. But the problem with that then is that a lot of these playthroughs will go really slow. So that will be something that I'm just sort of toying with, but I wanted to kind of talk that out a little bit, because I always try to be completely transparent, and I'm always looking for feedback. So if that's something that people want to see, if they'd be okay with improved quality, but reducing the number of videos, let me know. If people are really... See, this is the confusion that I really don't know about. What would be the best answer is that for me, when I'm watching someone, the video quality, especially if I'm hooked on a playthrough, is not my top priority. My top priority personally is seeing their response to the story that I really love. If we post less often, our content is less bingeable, which means that you'll have to wait longer for certain episodes and certain playthroughs. So that's the trade-off. So please, what do you think? Eventually I'll probably put out a poll, or when we finally get the Discord around, I'll probably talk more about that, especially to everyone that joins the Discord eventually, once I've narrowed it down and gotten my grasp on it. Then things will be a little bit easier, and I can make an actual decision on it with a clear mind and a little bit more time on my hands. Long story short, if you skip to the end of the video, here's the synopsis. A lot of changes are going to be happening to the channel. Some will probably be for the best, some will probably be for the worst. We won't know until we implement them and we see the response and see how things happen. So please bear with us, as you always have. I really appreciate all of you and being so patient with everything, as we try our best to make this the best channel that we can for you. And I'm really looking forward to the next few months and the next year or so. So thank you so much for watching this. Take care and goodbye!